Hello, this is Dr. Anatole, and I'm in my favorite forest, and I would like to talk to you about why there's nothing more important than spiritual path in your life. The reason for it, I'll answer right away, is that when you think of yourself as a human being, you will have human problems. If you know that your life itself, if you know that you are God itself, herself, himself, then you are everything and can't have, by definition, any problems whatsoever. You can observe different energies coming and going, different situations, but you wouldn't see them as problems. What's the big deal about this whole thing? Well, the big deal is that I've been hearing from a lot of people who are disturbed by what's happening around the country, both politically and with the virus. And I see a lot of people who are buying into conspiracy theories of whatnot. It is absolutely irrelevant whether these theories are true or not. What is relevant is this: people focus on what is familiar to them, and their responses are according to what is familiar to them. This has to do with the nature of thought forms. Wink, wink. Check out my second book, Abandoning Exile. The nature of thought forms is such that they come and go, they develop, but most importantly, they're kind of like cancer around our soul. They define us, for most people, they define us to be who we are. And that attachment doesn't really serve us very well. It makes us individuals, it makes us unique, not in a good way, and because we're not really unique. And what happens is that these thought habits, they harass us. And right now what we see in the world is that a whole bunch of people are affected by their demented thought forms. Mostly these people are not very wise at all, because the problems that we see right now are trivially simple to solve if people would listen to people who have a bit of wisdom. And all this bigotry and narrow-mindedness, small-mindedness, poor fake education, etc. All of these problems are very easy to solve. All they require is that people snap out from their prejudices and narrow thinking, and that's it. That's all there is to it. We can solve hunger problems instantly, we can solve discrimination problem instantly, we can solve pretty much 90% of human suffering, and maybe 100% of human suffering instantly. But we are slaves to these thought forms, to these thoughts, and I'm using this word on purpose. In the last couple of days, I had many conversations with people who are in denial about their fear of the situation. They think that they're very spiritual, but actually they're not. They have been imagining that they're on a path for a very long time, because that's what's taught through thought forms, and that's what thought forms, the egos, want you to believe. And I just recorded a Russian language video about this, and I gave an example how we feed ourselves with shit. We would never do this if, with food. Well, that's not entirely true. In America, people really like to eat garbage. This is just part of the culture, to eat something which is bland, tasteless, has little nutrition, and full of stuff that really is not good for you, clogs your veins and shit like that. this is a question of habit. This is a question how we focus our minds, which direction we want our life to go to. So imagine if in front of you there are two plates. One is with an amazing dish that smells amazing, made out of organic food. Everything is natural, grown on a wonderful farm or in your backyard under a beautiful sun, has amazing vibration, smells amazing. Did I say that already? And then you have another plate, basically shit with some curry on it, which smells like shit, because it is shit. Why would you eat one and not eat the other? But we do this all the time. We have this choice with our thoughts, but we choose to think shitty thoughts. Why is that? Well, only for one reason: lack of awareness and lack of wisdom. We need to become aware that we're doing this, and another one is that we need to have wisdom to realize how bad it is for us and stop doing that. And that requires focus, and that requires understanding that eating shit is not a good idea, because shit is not meant to be eaten. It's meant for something else. Well, as a fertilizer. And mental shit is meant not for fertilizer. Well, actually, it kind of fertilizes people like me. I'm obviously affected by the shit I experienced in the last couple of days. So that's part of the reason why I'm a little bit emotional and I'm recording this video. But that's the thing, spiritual path is all about clearing out these unnecessary thoughts. And some of these thoughts are not easy to clean out, but you can certainly turn off your TV. You don't really need to listen to toxic friends. They shouldn't be your friends in the first place. Just, it's kind of like I'm walking not very far from the county, the correctional institution. This is another thing. It's like, why would you call a jail a correctional institution? This is hilarious, because the reoffend rate in American system is like 70-80%. It just does not really work. This whole idea of correcting someone with a jail is just idiotic. So this is a very good example of very unwise, prejudice-based decision, which has been going on for hundreds of years, and it's very easy to see that it doesn't work. You don't really need to have a lot of report on that. You can just go to Norway, where a reoffend rate is like 20-25%, and see what they do, and we can repeat it here. So, well, this is on a social level, but how about on a deeper spiritual level? Well, spiritual path eventually will bring you to the realization that you're not human. You're God, that decided to take a certain form, just like a cockroach is God in cockroach form, and cat is a God in cat's form. And you can actually, cat probably knows more about being God than anyone else in our immediate vicinity. So that's the realization you get. Now, important thing that you're going to hear from me about 200 million times, and particularly my American friends, people who have very, very stuck view of reality, very fixated view of reality, you need to understand that by thinking, wisecracking, blah blah blahing, talking about these things, it does not work. Intellectual rumination about these things may produce at best some interesting poetry, but it's not going to change the point of attraction that you have. For that, you need to have quarantine. You need to put yourself on the diet of avoiding shit and eating good mental food and emotional food, which basically means you need to turn off TV. First of all, you need to turn off all your acquaintances that are toxic to you, and of course you'll have to do it gradually, but there's no other way. Well, there is a way, but you're probably not going to like it. You can sell your stuff or abandon your stuff and go to some monastery, to some ashram, The only problem with this system is that if you go just on the spur of a moment to some ashram, to some spiritual institution, you will quickly realize that you brought all the garbage and shit within you with you. And that's why it really doesn't matter where you do this. The best thing to do is not gradually or suddenly, but whatever is natural to you. You just need to stop paying attention to stuff that does not matter. Believe me, it doesn't matter whether Bill Gates or whoever spins some kind of conspiracy theory or doesn't. It doesn't matter what they say to you on TV. If you know anything about this world, you would know that, well, particularly TV is geared towards people who are like, I think educated up to third grade or sixth grade, basically very, very young children. It's a very, very low quality of information because they have to deal with the majority. And my videos are absolutely not for those kind of people, but for very, very particular individuals who have high potential for awareness, for high potential for ability to change themselves into a positive direction. And by the way, positive direction is such a beat up word. It's not like that. It's more, are you going in a direction where there will be greater depth and greater happiness? Or are you going in a direction where you're going to become more and more stale, like most people in society, get stuck, and end up being full of shit? Unfortunately, not metaphorically. It will actually physiologically happen to you. Average person has 15 pounds of stuff that they should have excreted from their system. And also, God only knows how many pounds of mental garbage that really doesn't serve anybody, neither people around you, nor primarily yourself. So, how do you approach this whole thing? Well, again, it's a gradual change in vibration. It's not about intellectual blah blah blahing. Unfortunately, most people in New Age community, that's what they're going to do to you. That is the kind of stuff that gets passed around and taught. And that's why these people tend to be so wishy-washy, because what they do is wishy-washy stuff. They're not doing stuff that actually works. And then they perceive people like me as judgmental and too, rude. Well, if you have cancer growing within you, you're not going to be dancing la-la dances around that thing. You're going to go to a surgeon and get it cut out. And I know it's a weird metaphor, because if you're on the path of life, path of light, and I mean it not in metaphorical sense but really, then very unlikely this kind of thing is going to occur to you anyway. But what do I know about this? But I certainly don't know about something about vibrations. So if this kind of videos are interesting to you, hit subscribe. You can even like it if you like it. And I'm gonna say goodbye, because I would like to enjoy this forest a little bit more. It's very nice talking to you. Bye. Look at this. Sumptuous grapes growing. Cow excrement. Smells nice with cow shit. Tell me, what would you eat rather? Tasty grapes? Or this?